everyone, this is Tracy Newman from the Navigators Tarot, which you can find me on Facebook and Instagram, and you can also find me on YouTube under Sleepy Wisdom, and you can also find me if you would like a personal reading at my website, which is sleepywisdom.com. Okay, so this particular little video is like a request from somebody that is having trouble with personal negative attacks. So there are a lot of people at the moment who are stepping into their role as the healer, and also a lot of people are going through a spiritual awakening process. And so with that comes up a lot of our own trauma bonding, I guess, in a way, to others that whether on a healing level or any other level at all, and it can then oftentimes lead us to open to negative, what appears to be negative attack, or a negative energy coming from that other person, and then of course attaching itself to us. So right from my very early times through my spiritual awakening, this has happened on a number of occasions. But all of it is supposed to happen because of the fact that we are going through such a huge awakening process that a lot of our trauma and also a lot of our fears come up to the surface. And that can actually then attract other type of fears that attach or appear to attach to our own negative trauma and negative, what appears to be negative. I always say appears to be negative because as far as I'm concerned, sorry, I'll just check this, is everything that is negative or positive, I think actually is really an illusion and is really, well, I guess in a way, how would I say it? There is no judgment as to what is negative or positive, it just is. And I think that is part of the reason why a lot of the time we appear to be attacked by what appears to be negative entities or energy. So I hope that makes sense. Anyway, so this is for people who do find themselves in a position where they're going through a massive spiritual awakening. They're going through the changes that need to be made within themselves. And usually it's to do with moving into their purpose, that, you know, as that's going to be required in this new world structure. And a lot of us are now moving into our purpose. And for a lot of people, it is about healing or going into spiritual healing and all of that sort of stuff, so that, you know, but once again, everything is a projection of what we are. So a lot of the time, what you are attracting to yourself in the form of others being needed to be healed, it is usually like an outer projection of what needs to be healed within you. So quite often these projected negative, so-called negative attacks usually are there because we have a great amount of fear that coalesces and sort of like it attracts that in another. So as within, so without. So I would say for all people, because, you know, a lot of people say, oh, you should protect yourself. Well, protection never ever worked for me. I had because the thing is, if you are meant to experience the totality of all that is, and that actually means that you also need to recognize the fear that lies within you, as well as the love. So I would actually say the greatest protection that anyone can have is literally unconditional love for yourself and others. And the way to do that is to remove as much fear as you possibly can. Probably, if there is any sort of enemy at all, it is the inner fear which you hold within. So if you have a greater amount of fear that needs to be exorcised or removed, that is your greatest protection against that which, you know, which basically attracts that, you know, that apparent negative energy to yourself. You will attract others' fear because it coincides with your own fear. Your greatest protection is unconditional love. You can use stones, you can use, you know, like, crystals, you can use projected higher, so-called higher entities, as in spirit guides, and all that sort of stuff. But really, at the end of the day, there are three things. Remove fear from your life, and trauma from your life. And the only way to do that is to go within, work on those things, go to counselors, healers, whatever you need to help to resolve the fear that lies within you. Unconditional love for yourself, acceptance, total acceptance for yourself and others and the experience that you have. And also, I would say, total surrender to all that is, God, however you see it. Those are the three things that you need to do to, I wouldn't even say protect yourself, because it isn't really about protection as such. It is about your growth and your learning, and your release. As you release fear, you then grow a more compassionate heart and towards yourself and others, and a more accepting heart towards yourself and others. So, you know, and which then leads to unconditional love without judgment. And we are all on this path, and, you know, and I will still get the odd attack from those that I perceive in some way have either done me wrong or well, just recently I had an attack from a demonic entity, but it wasn't so much as an attack as I was being deceived by someone that I thought was someone that they weren't, which is about my discernment, my own discernment, and also I had to then go within and look where I had also deceived myself in lots of ways. So you see, it is always about your inner journey. It is always about your inner growth to become completely a being of peace, serenity, and unconditional love. So the trick to doing that, your greatest protection, is to remove as much fear and trauma from your life as possible. And if you do, you know, part of my role on the earth and part of my purpose was to remove as much fear as possible, so that so that I could attract as many demonic entities as possible that had lived in the earth plane for quite some time, in the form of these Wisadak sort of energies that needed to be removed. And of course, the way to do that was through my physical body, as a vessel, a pure vessel of light to be able to be removed. And, you know, but that was part of my role. And the thing is, as you go through all of these spiritual so-called attacks, what you will actually find is that you will recognize and find your role on the earth plane and how you fit in to the spiritual world and the community, the natural world, and also the spiritual world. So anyway, for anybody that does actually have these particular so-called negative entity attacks, the best thing you can do, because on the odd occasion I have had this, and this is how I have removed demonics and all sorts of other negative or so-called negative entities that are uncomfortable, that make you feel very uncomfortable, out of the body. So the first thing to do is to get very, very still. So go into a meditative state, to go within and locate where this particular so-called negative entity lies within, or trauma or whatever. This works for everything, and it works for projected entities as well. So the best thing to do is to go within, Really feel where that uncomfortable feeling lies and where you think that this negative entity is residing. Usually I get it here, and I can feel a lot of energy around the back of my neck here. It seems to be the entry point, but it is also the exit point. So what then happens is you go within, you find where it is, you can feel the energy around you. You may also feel a great deal of fear, a tendency to like a panicky type of feeling that you may have, but the energy lies around here, and also a feeling that you want to commit suicide, because that's how it manifested for me. It may manifest for you in a different way. However, it makes you feel very uncomfortable. It can also make you feel like you want to vomit as well. So the best thing to do is to go within, find that where it is, and then close your eyes and really breathe into your stomach. This is the only way you can remove these things. And then I always go to the top. I do not muck around with other entities. I do not go to spirit guides or ascended masters. No, I go straight to the top. I go straight to the top and I call in Archangel Michael, Gabriel, and Jesus Christ. Those are the three that I call in. Now, if you are not Christian or in any way, I'm not a Christian either. I have no allegiance to anybody except for now Jesus Christ, because he came into my life at a time when, I was to do the work. And yeah. So, but whoever, for a Maori culture, it may be whoever is the highest of the high. It does not matter. Whatever culture you live in, it is the highest of the high, next to God, okay? Or God himself if you need to. But these three work in direct line to that God structure, that source, that pure source energy. So whoever it is for you, it does not matter, but you need to go straight to the top. I don't muck around. Then the best thing to do is to call all of the three in, and usually there's a trinity for me, and that I don't know whether that has anything to do with numerology or anything like that. I've got no idea. But that's what I call in, those three, and maybe it's got to do with the Trinity. There'll be other things. There'll be all sorts of different type of perceptions of what that is for you. Anyway, so call them in, and then what you need to do is to go within and start to breathe out this particular energy. And you need to continually call in Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Jesus Christ. Please remove this entity from me. And you need to then breathe in, breathe out, and you need to keep breathing in and breathing out and then see it done. You need to see it done. You need to actually see the demonic entity or whatever it is, because you don't really know what it is. You will know once you go within and you start to see it. But also too, sometimes it will keep itself hidden until you breathe it out. Mine always comes out from here. And then as it comes out, you will begin to feel as it all begin to shift and lift from you. And then you need to see it done. And you need to see the three or whoever take the entity from you. And then you need to actually then see them take it from you and take it away. And then you need to keep breathing. Now, often too, you will find yourself, if you allow your body to move into a position where it can easily remove these entities. And sometimes you will go into a flow, and sometimes you will move in a contorted way. Your body will move in a contorted way. You may begin yawning. You may begin to really, really feel your body begin to shift and move in whatever way it needs to remove these entities. And then see it done. This is what I do every single time. And sometimes it can take quite some time. The last time it took me a couple of hours to remove this thing, but eventually I did remove it, and it was gone because of what I did. Then after that, the best thing you can do is to shower from head to toe, or get into a salt bath if you have a bath. Or the greatest thing you can do for any sort of removal of anything is to get into the ocean and make sure that you completely duck yourself down, you head everything into the water, and make sure that whatever residual energies are there are removed. Yeah. So that's my little tip for the day. You know, as we all begin to transition into these new earth energies, we will begin to find what our purpose is on this earth plane. Always, always, it will lead us to removing our fear and moving into greater compassion and unconditional love with no judgment. And we're all a work in progress. I will say that. So, you know, unless you're completely enlightened, which, yeah, you know, I am not. So anyway, good luck, and hopefully this makes sense for anyone who needs to hear it. Okay, bye for now.